get into this?
I told Trevor this is for right now. It's just for like keeping like records of
A
the
record, yeah.
game because I really wish we had a record of the last game.
Mm.
So I'll do my best. If Jamie, if you want to pitch in any point, if I've forgotten a detail, feel free to do so.
I got you. It's not like a crazy amount happened.
No, but I mean, it was pretty epic how this fight went down,
Agreed.
and I was surprised. I was surprised that none of us actually went down down.
Mhm. That's pretty shocking.
Full. All right, you're good to go. By the way.
All right. So previously on, let's see, who am I? Yes, Ved and Friends. We found ourselves in an anti-magic zone where we couldn't cast any magic, and we were in front of this door with a snake, with a woman with a snake, I believe, or some iconography about that. I couldn't really identify what it was, but our purple injured elf friend, I guess, we left with Messer just to make sure he was okay. We decided to scout inside this doorway into this temple-like structure. We tried to send a few of our more stealthy individuals, and I have no idea why Xander was in the front, but he was. Oh
Because
yes, because he has
you
dark
could
vision.
see. Yeah,
I was
all
one of the
three of
few
us
people
couldn't
with
see in
dark
the dark.
vision. So basically, we unfortunately made enough noise that a number of individuals spotted us with bows, someone with multiple blades, and this creepy bat-like creature with a human head, with this horrifying screech, all saw us. I managed to throw a torch into the main area, and I backed the hell away so that the rest of my friends could deal with it. There's some pot shots back and forth as Rhea took a shot and nearly went down from whatever poison was in this arrow. But this bat creature, tried to bite her and failed horribly. She cut it down in twain, while also battling this dagger man, who she also managed to cut up pretty badly. We all focus fired on that. We also shared some shots. Meanwhile, we had Silk, who jumped across a chasm onto a bridge to do battle with a couple of archers. Not wanting to feel left out, we also had Carrick jump and join her. So they battled these archers on a bridge while we battled these foot soldiers on the ground. But we also heard down in a hallway there was some shouting and another fight happening where there's some screaming. We couldn't understand the language, but we did hear one person shout like that they would take them down. One of the archers ran into the hallway just to be cut down. Silk said thank you. Whilst this man who has been riddled with wounds stumbles out, not knowing he was a friend, took a shot at him. Luckily, not too grievous, but he was already pretty wounded at the time. Silk decided to jump back and go through a left hallway with Carrig. They looked down the hall. They could see some archers, and Silk decided to run in there solo. Manages to completely destroy one archer, but sees this woman who looks completely nonplussed. She's decked out. She's like in these robes. She almost thinks like she looks at Silk like she's an ant, and treats her as such because completely wrecks her. Luckily, Carrig is able to heal Silk a little bit.
For full
Meanwhile,
healing potion.
in this other room, Nyx, star player, takes a quiver from one of the poison arrows and shoots down this massive dude and shoots him off the bridge. He was already
Literally puts
slightly
him to
wounded,
sleep.
but because he was down, we were able to take him. And Xander, feeling a little bit sure of himself, because he also had he had uh, oh my goodness, he had Ariel's character. I'm blanking. I'm trying to do all the names. I'm
Rhea?
blanking. Yes, he
Rhea.
had Rhea's help. He was looking so wounded, and we were so sure. So stabbing him with his blade, stabbing with hers, nearly killing him. But in his death rattle, stabbed Xander nearly to death. With Ved coming in to bonk him on the head to finish him off. Then he was this priestess was gang banged essentially by everybody.
Like
But
4
that's
people.
after that was we did have our new friend who nearly ran off, but Rhea convinced him to join the fight again after getting a greater healing potion with a 100 on the dice roll of convincingness. Sends him back up there to help kill this thing, and that is where we left off with various details that if anyone else wants to pitch in.
A memory and a half, brother.
Yeah, Silk, like, while fighting that lady, got poisoned and is essentially, like, in a delirious stupor trying to
Yes.
take her down.
I apologize. Messer was only in the fight after we called for help at least 3 rounds in, so dashes into the fight to assist, which he was actually extremely helpful because he was fully helpful. He tried casting some spells, but we still unfortunately can't use them, so Messer did do a good job just with his blades.
Also, you came in and you didn't even know what language they were speaking. You looked just like them, but you couldn't really help us out in, like, trying to talk to them.
Yep. So that is, and now we have this person who had this book. He said not to let them get their hands on this book. But I believe we've managed to dispatch all of the foes. We have some. Ironically, we did say before this all started, we were able to kind of understand from this guy like how many are in there, like who's in there and like attacking. It said one guy. So we've essentially saved the one guy. We'll probably come back out to this purple elf dude who's gonna be completely freaked out because we obviously chose a side.
Also, towards, like, right after the fight, Silk was, like, essentially, like, holding her head like something was happening to her, and she, like, crouched down, basically, like, on the wall of the hall, and is just, like, basically, like, holding her head, like, standing very still.
Yes. Well, a couple of things we'll need to do is, first of all, figure out who this guy is. Maybe look into what these people are carrying because some of their weaponry and armor seem to be outclassing ours, so it might not be a bad idea to tip up. Not to mention, there might be some arrows left over for Nyx that she might want to have.
True.
So I'm kind of sitting there with the breath completely out of me, nearly dead, being like, I could use a breather, and then maybe we can chat and figure out how we want to divvy up all of this stuff.
You guys were saying that I came in, saw a bunch of purple elf dudes, but didn't understand them. Do they look like me? Is that what you're getting at?
They
Because
do bear certain resemblance.
I do not speak Shatterkai, which I guess is why you brought that up. Making sure I fully understood the situation there.
Yeah, you
I don't
nearly
know,
got
they're not my homies,
attacked.
so
You almost got attacked by the guy we were saving because you do look like the people he was attacking.
Yeah, you like leap up onto the bridge and like climb up from the floor, which means you're coming from directly behind him. And as he looks over his shoulder, he fucking like he goes to lash out at you right as you're like driving forward into a stab to the dude that he's fighting, and just yeah, apparently the dude's pretty sharp on his feet because he didn't just fucking try to kick you off the bridge. But yeah, if you guys have seen the Lord of the Rings, where Legolas in Helm's Deep, or not Helm's Deep, in the fucking Mines of Moria, sorry, he takes that incredible shot from like all that long way, it hits the goblin in the head, and he falls all the way into the chasm. Effectively, Nyx, with that taking a poison arrow that causes unconsciousness, snatches it up and rolls the guy on the bridge, who's like some big bad, like, veteran grizzled warrior, falls unconscious, and he falls off the bridge and gets set upon viciously by everyone on the ground.
You also missed Silk jumping off of the bridge and doing the, like, essentially like that scene where Widowmaker latches her legs onto the guy's head and, like, throws him down to the ground. Jumped 20 feet off of a bridge and did that to a guy, like, basically just using her body as a projectile.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was. I apologize for those of you who weren't here, but it was pretty epic.
James, I sent you a message.
It sounds like it.
And that's why we want to deal with the aftermath of all of this, get some goodies, and maybe maybe make it to the other city so we can long rest.
Who ran Messer?
I believe that was James.
Did
I
you
did.
like any spells or whatever? You made sure to update it on the sheet because I don't want to roll
So
in here. And...
we're
We
in
couldn't
we're
cast
in an
anything.
anti-magic spot, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
so
did
when
this
you
entire
would that
fight
still
without
consume?
spells.
Would it still consume your spell slots for having
Yeah.
tried?
We
Okay.
Yes.
we relearned that it wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it
I just
felt
wanted to
like
make sure all my stuff was good.
it feels in the
Yeah.
mind like the equivalent of going to put your foot down on a stair that you think is there when you go upstairs in the dark. Your foot just goes through, like back to the floor. Yeah, it does not consume your energy though.
So I'm just a super awesome, very low HP warrior right now, or fighter. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
One thing that was noticed was when I took out my blade, it was pretty odd. Like one of the other drow, which I'm just gonna call them drow for the purpose of ease, noticed the blade and like kind of gave a respectful game notices game. Trevor's words.
Like, interesting.
So it was
Can I
So,
still
plot.
communicate with my artifact? Or has it been silent since coming in here?
it does seem to still. It doesn't seem entirely quiet, should I say? You've had some difficulty, with utilizing
bitch.
it, but there have been some. You've gotten some use out of it, specifically.
But no
the
quiet
curse you can
time.
put on people. Nope, unfortunately, no. It. I guess it would be somewhat common knowledge that enchanted items are one of the few things that does function while in these sort of areas. They function
Gotcha.
very reliably, even in areas of magical chaos like wild magic and whatnot. So at least as far as the common learned understanding of things. So
Bev, you had sent me a message on my character private about combat XP, even though I wasn't here.
I think everybody
Bev-
gets the XP.
yeah,
okay.
it's if your characters are going to be put in life and death situations,
Yeah,
you're going to have to get a cut.
Yeah, Rhea nearly died, and she wasn't like Ariel wasn't here for that.
Yep, Xander nearly died. Ved is in pretty rough shape.
Oh,
Yeah, just overall, everyone pretty much got their shit handed to them, and honestly, I'm surprised that it wasn't worse. So, yeah, combat XP, indeed, you did get a share.
Okay. Cool.
I didn't apply that. That would have been. It won't
Yeah,
matter
none
because
of
we have to
us.
be in a safe
Yeah,
spot to
yes,
be able
none
to
of us
level.
have leveled up, but assuming we get to a safe spot, we will be able to do so. But regardless, I spoke a lot. If people want to now move into the aftermath, I'm more than happy to listen.
You just see like Silk is just not moving. Like even after everyone like just starts to like look over bodies, you just see her just like essentially like crouch down into a ball.
I'll walk over to Silk and kind of sit next to you and be there.
You see like into her face, she's like looking around like the area, like scanning everything.
Yeah, everyone's pretty much tapped on everything. You can see the stranger that you saved taking just a moment to compose himself and check his wounds, which are pretty substantial. Um, he has lost a lot of blood, and he is still losing some. He's quickly going very matter of factly about the process of dressing it. Periodically, he's probably moved into this hallway over here just so he can have a little bit of space. And periodically, he looks to any of you who happen to be moving around, not willing to
Sorry.
let you guys
I
move
wouldn't-
around without being watched.
As I'm breathing like heavily from all of my stab wounds, I kind of turn to him and say, "You're welcome."
He regards you very briefly, stops for a second, gives you a little nod, and quickly continues to try to bandaging, as almost like as if he's in a hurry, like as if he has somewhere to be.
I notice much and like, and I'm probably like, so, what's a pretty guy like you doing in such a dark place like this?
He like rips off a piece of the cloth that he's like holding between his teeth, and he says, "I'm sorry, but there's not going to be any time for that. I'm behind time. I can't stay. Not even a rest."
Look, I understand the urgency of what it seems to be important to you, but there's strength in numbers. And we do have a caravan that's heading to what's the city we're heading to again? Just because of
Al Harir.
I was
wait, Al Harir. We're heading to Al Harir if that's the direction you're going.
I'm afraid not. Listen, I don't want to sound ungrateful. Seldom is a deed done, good one, that doesn't have the expectation of a reward. Why don't we make this quick and easy, and you just tell me what exactly you were expecting when you saved my life?
I expected someone, honestly, who might know how to wield a sword better than some of our compatriots, given that we seem to stumble upon a very challenging encounter.
Well, you got that at least. But to be honest with you, you're not exactly seeing me in match shape. There's something about this place. It's oppressive, quiet.
Yes, I've noticed it too.
I can't bring myself to bear in here.
Look,
I suppose there's time to say thank you at least. But I'm gonna have to go.
what's your name at least? For the purpose of if we ever come across our paths.
My name's Slint. I suppose all I can do in the way of thank you is tell you that you've changed all your futures here today, and more than just for yourselves. And some advice, I guess. Avail yourself of whatever the dead can offer you, and count yourselves lucky not to be among them.
Well, you sound like you're on an important mission, but for whoever you are or your compatriots, just realize that Xander Al-Qadir and friends came to your aid.
Xander Al-Qadir. Well, I might have a bit of difficulty remembering the name. Could you write it down in something? Bit of a foreigner's name, you know? Right. Xander Al-Qadir. Well, thank you, Xander, and to all of you. I know I must seem incredibly ungrateful. You'd
I
understand,
don't know.
but I don't have time to
You s-
explain.
It seems pretty urgent, but is there a way for us? You seem. I mean, I'm looking at his armor, his weapons. Like he seems pretty kitted out.
Yeah.
Is there a order in which we can maybe, if not find you, find your compatriots if we were to head north?
Thinks about this for a second. And
Great.
he shakes his head no. He goes, there's probably not more than 4 of us. He just stops there. You're going to have difficulty finding us. But I'll tell you what, Xander Al-Qadir. Seems like for the first time in my career, I've overestimated myself. I don't plan to do it again. There may come time to change all of our futures once again. If that happens, you can expect me to find you. Believe me, I'm quite good at it.
Well, we won't keep you if you don't wish to join us, but as a warning, as we nurse our wounds and collect our trophies, there is one alive one with our caravan. He may be quite surprised to see you. We were since we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, and we've never seen elves of this ilk before. We didn't realize whose side we were on yet until being shot at.
That does tend to clarify things, doesn't it? Well, if I were you, I'd bleed him dry. But that's up to you. I won't cause him any trouble on my way. I've no interest in these beyond their obvious interest in me. So, assuming that doesn't go the same for you, we've no further interest in each other.
Before we goes though, because I did hear him talk about the book, I'll say it might behoove us to at least understand why this book is so important to you, we, just in case we are help in the future.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Ooh, baby.
Hey,
You got this.
a natural
What?
one. Maybe not.
That's,
I mean, I am really winded. He's
Yeah,
winded
yeah.
too. Like, yeah, there's a lot of reasons.
and he's in a hurry. He goes,
You got this.
"Do your best to forget
Natural.
about that, friend. They were hasty
Maybe
words
not.
said in a moment of desperation.
I mean, I am really wounded.
Everything will be all right
winded.
now.
He's
Yeah,
winded
be sure of
too.
that.
Like, yeah.
Something's as he's saying this, he pauses for a moment. Like you can be sure of that.
I mean, I am
Pauses for a
really
second,
winded.
and you see him once again, like now that he's walked into an area where he can see each of you. Like some realization about you seems to strike him, and he pauses for a second. And he looks from one to each of you quickly, almost like he's counting you. 7 of you.
Yes, not including our caravan.
I see. He thinks about this for a second. It may not mean much to you, but perhaps there is something else I can do for you. I'll just need your attention for a moment. If you could gather around, that would be helpful.
I tell Ved to come over, and I kind of whistle for the ones who are up on the bridge because it wraps around.
He looks up in the sky for a second, and then he quickly starts to mutter out this like long prayer. He goes, "You who wait in the vaults eternal, carry me to the shores of the river of iron. Cast me into the days
What?
yet to come, and I will swim until all collapses into one. In the name of the seven, upon sacred six. Caldemist."
Can you type that last word?
It wasn't a word that you recognized. But in any case, he looks at each of you, and you can sense a sort of like that seemed important to him. I'm guessing it doesn't mean anything to all of you, but he just kind of like looks to a few of you and then says, "Right, I best be off. I don't recommend you tarry too long either. Xander, and to the rest of you, may we only meet again in a time of need." And with that, he begins to head for the exit, still wrapping some of his wounds as he walks.
That was a fun party. I might as well get our party gifts.
So I imagine you guys are searching the bodies.
Yeah, I do have the party fun open unless anyone else wants to record stuff since I'm one arm shy now.
I'll search
Well,
the big woman right next to me, the one we killed with a silk, and everybody else.
yeah,
That's
fair
I
enough.
mean, collectively, we're looking through all
Yes.
of them.
Yeah. So
Immediately
So-
turn to the bunny, put my hand in the pockets.
yeah. So on just the general rabble, shall I say? Can I have 2 different people each roll me a d6?
Can Ariel roll real dice?
Ooh.
Yeah, her
Yeah, sure.
digital dice are in dice jail.
I should grab them.
All right. Well, not this time then, but yes, sure.
Next time. I'll grab them now.
Okay, noted.
The
So
Messer,
among the,
come on.
among the corpses,
I
checking
just
their
walked in
quivers,
here.
you
Okay.
find that they do have quite a few like standard arrows. It would seem, although they're a strange material, they have a sort of an odd smell to them, sort of almost musty. But some of them smell very potently different and are clearly tipped or dipped in some sort of poisonous substance. Some of you guys got the the receiving end of this. So 4 such arrows are found among the bodies. It seemed they, from one who didn't seem to get a chance to fire any, you get the impression that they might only each carry perhaps 2 or 3 of these, and then, you know, a number of normal arrows. But seeing as there were so many combatants, perhaps they thought it was best to start unloading them. So yeah, 4 poisoned arrows. If you want to write like unconsciousness or something.
Well, I mean, I would just immediately hand them to Nyx.
I'm putting
Nyx, you should
drow
take
poison
these.
arrows.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
If you want to write that, then that's fine. You also notice, find some standard equipment, which I'm going to list here just without going over. But it doesn't seem to you that it is in some way other than mundane, but they're definitely odd looking. You know, made of components and materials that, for the most part, you don't recognize. Some of the parts that you expect to be metal seem to be made of some sort of like hard chitin or something. It's difficult to say, but I'll just throw those there. And you'll have to excuse the fact that they're written out like that. But on the body of the woman that you're searching, Karak, the sort of lieutenant woman or whatever, priestess, whatever you were going to call her, you notice aside her normal equipment, you can see that her sort of studded leather has the gleam of something brand new, but the look in sort of the style of something that is quite old. And it doesn't really fit the style of like what the others are wearing. So it is clearly in some way an enchanted piece of armor. It's studded leather, but
Like,
sorry.
so, I mean, we have the carts. Do we just intend on filling this
Yeah,
cart with
of course.
stuff?
Just take them. It's all material. And we have the cards for a reason.
And sorry, I just realized that I had a brain fart. The armor that she's wearing actually does match what everyone else is wearing pretty well, other than the fact that it seems to be abnormally clean and undamaged, despite the fighting. However, what I was getting confused with is she's got this pair of shoes that seem very out of style of everything else. They're like a pair of boots. They are extremely light, for one thing, and cold to the touch. And as you look at them, small parts of them seem to go slightly translucent at times.
Oh.
So you're
these-
telling me if I stare long enough, I can see her feet?
or you could just remove the boots to do that. But yes, that it does occasionally show a small glimpse of what is underneath. If if that is the highest use that you would tend to put these toward, I will judge you quietly and leave you to it. But yes, both of these things seem in some way abnormal, but in the moment, there's not really a way for you to have, you know, immediately more information on these. This is about what you can gather at a glance. However, you do also notice some currency, like some Galatian currency, so, you know, like the local currency, in the form of 12 gold, 15 silver, 24 copper, which some of the coins still have bloodstains on them. There's also these last 2 pieces of her equipment, which just seem, you know, well made and whatever, but other than that, seem exotically mundane. Yeah.
Yep.
They're also cold
So
to the
the-
touch and are
Yep.
very light.
Well, regardless, we should at least all put this with our stash in the cart, like, before we decide who gets what. But we definitely have. I mean, I agree with Messer. We definitely have a decent amount to sell when we get to town. So there's that. Although,
Perhaps
know,
we could
so-
upgrade the cart to a wagon.
I turned to Silk, and she's obviously not looking great. She seems to have done a number on you. Maybe you should take these as a trophy to remind you that you came out on top.
Hold on.
You don't take the boots as a recommendation? I mean, I say Silk. You should probably have these just to. And I mean, I'm looking around. Who of us, just for the purpose of logistics, studded armor is light armor or medium armor?
It's light.
Yeah, studded leather armor is basically what she was wearing, but there's just the fact that it seems so well made and undamaged, even though you guys stabbed the shit out of her.
I mean, I'm looking to see. I mean, this is a nice piece. I mean, I'm looking really wounded, but I shouldn't have been in the front lines anyway. I mean, I kind of look to out of us who thinks like. I mean, I look at Rhea, who's not even wearing armor. But I ask Rhea if she wants armor.
Not really my thing.
Didn't think so. You're much prettier out of the armor. I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't quite go
How
with
subtle.
the outfit.
I was gonna say, if he's gonna be a frontline hex like warlock, I'd say Messer might be a good option. If he can
I agree.
wear
It
light.
depends on really what the enchantment is, so it'll take a tuning to it. But I have scale mail now, so like,
Oh, what's your? Oh, you have scale mail, so you have medium.
yeah, I have medium right now,
Okay,
which
okay.
is
So then
kind
it's
of the
really, yeah, fair. So it's really just me, Nyx, or you, Ved. But Nyx just got some fancy arrows.
I mean, it's if you want it.
Well, that's fair. That is true. Although I put like while you walk off, I'm always happy to give you the armor later. I put on the armor anyway. I kind of strip down like you can as I take off my leather armor and you see all these bloody cuts like they're down my body. It's like I turn to the rest and I say, paint a picture. It'll last longer. And then I put on the armor. But so it's just so if I look up studded armor, I just add whatever that is, Trevor.
I don't. I don't think your AC would change, but if you're wearing regular leather, it would at least go to 2 DR.
Well, I'm more than happy to at least. I do say to the group I could use a breather, aka a short rest, and we have to also decide what to do with our last purple friend, who doesn't seem to know what's happened in here.
So are these Shatter Kai elves, or are they like deep elves? Like, what's going on? I'm
Yeah. So one thing we could do.
Are they Drow?
Look, we have no love for these creatures currently, given that they attacked us, and we're about to enter a slaver's territory. We could slave him to try to get in with the slavers and to take them down in the next city.
No.
That's just a suggestion.
N-
Well, true, but they did seem to have so many good gifts from the last city.
I mean,
And isn't it a great thing to be able to travel, visit new places? And if we move on from this city too, it'll only make us richer for the knowledge of the world. And I just give this cheesy smile as I cough blood.
you have. Never mind. You you have comprehend languages, don't you?
I do, but I
I
can't
mean,
cast it.
yeah, I know you can't cast it now. If we just take this guy with us, and
Well,
then
the
you
problem
talk
is
to him later.
comprehend doesn't mean I can speak his language.
That's fair. You can
So
just
yes, he can
understand
talk,
it. Yeah.
and I can't. I have to first be able to convey to him that I understand him, which it's not impossible. Yeah, I agree. We can at least decide what to do from later, but I just don't want to be stabbed in the night. And I can't. I have to first be able to convey to him that I understand him. Fair enough. Let's just put him in the manacles, as you say. But I think we should all at least take a breather. Yeah,
Or
I agree.
he's probably worth like 50 XP or something. We could just stab him in the throat and roll out.
XP. Fair enough. Let's just put him in the manacles, as you say. But I think we should all at least take a breather.
Or he's probably worth like 50 XP or something. We could just stab him in the throat and roll out.
XP? Which one?
Oh,
Fair enough. Let's just put him in the manacles, as you say. But I think we should all at least.
Yeah,
we killed him.
although he's definitely dead now as a result of blood loss.
what a terrible way to go. Oh my god.
Well, anyway, can I request a short rest at least in the meantime?
Okay. Short
Alright.
resting?
Can we do it
I-
outside? Ved asked if we could at least get
Yeah, I mean,
outside. This place makes
Yeah,
me
we can
nervous.
at least go. We can go to the cart.
Okay, very good. Convening outside for a short rest. You guys can go ahead and do that. In the meantime,
I
The-
do have a question
Good.
as far as mechanics go. We've never had two bards in the party,
Mhm.
and we both have Song of Rest.
Wait,
Do people
Um,
get? Do people
when
get
does Song of Rest happen?
when you
I
take a
think
short
when you
rest?
take a short
I don't know.
rest,
At what level?
Oh, second.
Oh, you're right. We do.
Come on.
Yeah, we do. So we
Yeah,
guess we
Song
could
of Rest.
both do it. Does it stack? I didn't think
Wait,
about
hold on,
that.
hold on. If you or any of those. I think it stacks. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't be able to do so.
Hell yeah.
So
Nice.
Song
So
of
you
Rest for me is just me like talking at everybody, going like just talking about how well that fight went.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do.
I have
Sit before me and listen.
I have a pan flute actually.
So you're pan fluting as I regale the tale. It's like almost like a slam poetry session.
Hell yeah. Bard Brothers at it again.
That's 2D. I guess you can roll d6 and I roll d6.
Yeah. I am going to expend one hit die.
There you go.
But everyone gains 6 hit points from Xander, and
Well, that's his hit die.
Yeah, that's and 5
fi-
from me, so 11.
11 before any hit dice. That is nuts.
But you have to
Um,
roll a hit dice in order to get that 11.
You do, yeah.
So that's
if you-
insane because I'm fully up now. The
Yeah,
power
just as
of
a result
friendship.
of spending one single hit dice.
Do I do it though? Because I'm only down. I don't have a choice though.
You don't need
really,
to.
right?
No, you can choose not to. As in, you can choose not to get any of the HP.
I'm just gonna do it and get my 3 hit points back. Fuck it.
I
It's better than getting one shot, perhaps.
I wonder if you guys accidentally came up with the perfect party comp for this, like for the new game mechanics, because everything's kind of so brutal. But Song of Rest for the win, double Song of
Nick-
Rest.
Well, now I know my next 2 levels are going in Bard. I already got the charisma. All right.
That's funny because I'm
Everybody,
thinking.
everybody takes levels.
We are gonna Baldur's Gate our way to victory.
Yeah, we each at every short rest we each spend 1 hit dice. This allows us to fully heal.
And what's crazy is it just naturally progresses as we level up.
So, who wouldn't be having to spend too much time dressing wounds? Who is not trying to heal from below half HP? Because I want to say Messer was not trying to heal from beneath half HP.
I'm not healing from half.
Okay, yeah, you took no
I'm
hit.
fine.
If you two wouldn't mind just making me a perception check. Well, Silk, you're busy for other reasons. You're deeply sick. But okay, noted, Messer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
I think Next is paying attention.
to the person who I asked to make one that I didn't ask publicly, please check your character private. For the other two, stand by for 1 second. Okay.
I mean, so Ray is also poisoned, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, but it's Ray's just healing from her wounds and stuff. Wrapping her wounds. She's really not making. She doesn't really have time to check around. Whereas Nyx and Messer are just basically kind of sitting there and listening, or watching for the road, or watching your captive. So over the course of this time, you notice that the captive is looking around, but there's not really many places for him to go. You guys are in basically a canyon. There are high walls each side of you. They are scalable, it seems. You guys have already sort of dipped your toes into that. But his options are basically into the temple, forward or backward. And it's also, but like now that you guys have reemerged from the temple, it is quite dark. Like it's not quite nighttime, but it effectively is in this little canyon because of the sun having difficulty passing through the mountains. So as you guys are sitting there, Messer, you notice the captive there looking at you as if he's trying to figure you out in some way. He looks around occasionally to each person whenever they move, right? Like he's jumpy, nervous, easily startled. But his vision he always seems to look back to you as if he's most comfortable looking at you, but sort of has a look on his face like he's trying to, figure you out. You also notice that he appears increasingly nervous, but as you guys rest.
I don't like him looking around, so I'm gonna go. We have to have like a burlap bag or something in our cart. I think we already said that we got him chained up, but I'm gonna go find a bag and I'm putting a bag on his head because I don't like him looking at me.
That is fair enough, and yeah, it's just your travel provisions. You would have emptied a couple of sacks by now.
I'm just gonna put it on his head and say no.
Okay. As for Nyx, as you basically took no wounds and you're in pretty good shape, you find yourself, kind of just with nothing to do, waiting for everyone to heal up and dress their wounds. And you lived through the fight, so maybe it's not necessary for you to closely listen to Xander retell this, but as he is doing so, and I'm sure some sort of little fire would have had to be erected here for the purposes of, like, or at least torches or something. Like, you guys have to have light out there because it would start to get too dark. But in the flickering torchlight, you're out the front of the temple, and you notice something like in the back of your mind, like kind of like an itch that's a little bit beneath the skin that you can't quite scratch. You find yourself looking at this, carving that's above the open double doors that now just disappear the hallway into darkness beyond. But in the torchlight, you can make out this carving, and something about it kind of is giving you that itch in the brain. It's a carving of it's very elaborate, but it's basically of this woman with a snake-like head, with her breast like exposed, but she's nursing, almost like as if she had a baby, but she's holding. But it's a coiled snake that's like latched on, and something about it seems in some way off. You remember the pillars inside that hold up the bridge have a similar carving, but you're not really sure what it is, just something kind of sticks out to you about it. Alright, back to you guys.
Since I'm over here by this guy, I'm gonna ask him if he speaks common. Like, after I put the bag on his head, I'm gonna like kick his foot and be like, "Do you speak common?"
He like adjusts his stance a little bit, and he's got a bag on his head, but he's like, his head shifts like with the bag as if he would be looking left and right, but all he does is adjust his stance wider, as if you kicking his foot was a sign for him to spread his feet apart.
I'm gonna boop about where his nose would be then, and ask in Elvish if he speaks Elvish.
He says back, but not in Elvish. Something that sounds like Ustan di filus obele, Sulindel. Which I'm gonna guess you don't understand what the fuck he just said, but he did respond when you spoke Elvish to him.
I mean, I'm probably over here with them when that's happening. I kind of turn to Messer and I say, once we get out of here, I might be able to at least, if not talk to him, at least understand him a bit better.
Yeah, I was just wondering. Since everybody else is kind of taking a knee for a second, I feel pretty good, so I thought I'd ask him. He's worthless, it seems.
Well, for now. But I mean, I assume like after everyone's rested up and have seen stuff, if we're ready to get going, we're probably a few more days travel, hopefully, to the city.
Well, according to, I mean, you've had to make a little detour, but I want to say, yeah, you guys are somewhere around 3 days. I'll have to see.
Ved, Xander, and I just made this trip not too long ago, right?
Yes, although you didn't have to come this way. When you guys came south from Al-Harir to Amarstock, there was no giant sandstorm blowing in the in the eastern lowlands that come out of Al-Harir.
Do we know if there's other places along the route, or is it 3 days of nothing? Is there like a traveler's rest kind of place? Any roadhouse, as it were?
I mean, yeah, as you're getting closer to the city, I want to say, coming from this direction, you would have hit a roadhouse by now, traveling by the other direction, but because you're heading through the mountain pass, you're pretty much just, you'll have to get within a day's travel of Al-Harir, as far as you remember, to hit any place to stop, other than, places like right here where you are.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, Xander, I think since we know we have a little bit of time, we can keep this guy with us for a little while, see if we can't get anything out of him. But we're either going to need to cut him down or cut him loose prior to arriving in the city, I think.
Of course, and I have a way of words, at least. Hopefully we can come to an understanding, even if we don't speak each other's languages. But once we're out of here, yeah. So basically, once the caravan starts moving, I'm gonna probably consistently try to cast message to Ved until it actually works.
Gotcha. So,
Noise.
as you guys are walking, Silk, you feel the occasional like. By the way, are you guys planning to continue traveling at night? Like, because it is nighttime.
Oh, I guess we could. It is a little creepy here, but one thing to our benefit is that nothing can take our back if we do rest here.
I agree.
You guys are camping outside or within the complex?
I know. I think we should stay outside. We don't want to just leave our stuff in our caravan
Well, no,
out
but
there.
we could
Yeah,
bring the
but-
caravan at least into the doorway at least, and
Yeah.
that way nothing can get behind us most likely.
Okay, so just like into that sort of like hall where you found the first dead guys. I don't know
Yes.
if we're still on the map, but here basically. Okay. So to camp up and rest for the night. Just for the purpose of keeping us all in the habit. It's going to be 8 hours. That means some amount of watches are going to be needed. Most likely 4 watches. However you guys want to split that up, it's cool. If you don't really care, we can just assign people.
Well, I guess it can be 2, 2, 2, and 1.
All right.
I'll do one with Rhea.
Okay. Rhea and Silk.
Zed, you should probably do one with the only other person you can talk to other than myself is Messer.
All right. Ven and Silk. Ven, Messer, Rhea, and Silk. That leaves an odd man out. Of.
I'll do one.
Okay.
I can do an extra. I don't necessarily need to sleep.
Oh, do you just meditate for 4 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Nix
then
and
the
Messer,
three of
and
us.
then Xander, Silk, and Kara, apparently.
Yep.
Wait. Oh, I put Silk twice. That's why. So Xander and Kara. Okay. Okay.
And me, I think, because I don't think.
Well, yeah, fair.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Okay. So first up, if you guys just want to make your perception check, Rhea and Silk.
Wait a second. Before we do this, are we both still poisoned?
Oh yeah.
No, like by the time that you guys like get some rest, it takes somewhere in the neighborhood of an hour for it to wear off. But I imagine by the time that you guys have like dressed your wounds, interrogated the guy, moved the caravan in, and started setting everything up, yeah, you'd be feeling sick, but eventually you'd kind of feel well enough to start. So
I'm gonna roll my actual die.
yeah, good question though.
Man.
Okay, noted. Well, as far as you guys can tell, it is quite quiet. Rhea, all you like really notice is the strange amount of detail that is that's on all these pillars. There's like 3-dimensional snake carving around, as if there was an actual snake made of stone. Carved, coiled around these like pillars. I assume that Silk is a little preoccupied with other matters, but things pass relatively quietly, which leads Ved and Messer up next. Go ahead, guys, do it. Wow.
How did we get the same freaking
Exact
rolls?
same, yeah, I don't know. Don't know at all. So, Ved, I don't know. Maybe you're thinking of you tell me why you're distracted, but
I'll tell you
Messer-
exactly why I'm distracted. I don't have my shiny knife.
Yeah, perhaps you had a unfortunate dream, and you're still feeling the phantom pain of the knife in your leg, which bit pretty hard.
Trev,
Messer,
I am paying attention ish, and it's like I have freaking like devil sight and whatnot, so like the dark doesn't affect me at all, but I guess I'm just not paying enough attention because I'm attempting to talk to my watch, and also I still feel unnerved about how that dude wouldn't stop staring at me. So I keep looking at him.
Yeah, fair enough. But you are at least like keeping somewhat of a watch out for danger. And equally, your shift also passes without incident, which leads us to Nix and Messer. And then Xander and Kara are going to be the last ones up. So Nix and Messer, if you guys want to make your perception check, Nix, you will have as a matter. Oh, okay.
The other guy fell asleep finally, and I'm not worried about him like staring at me through his cloth sack.
Yeah. So Messer, as you're camped out, thanks to your devil's sight, the darkness is really not bothering you. But as you're camped out within the hallway of this thing, you notice something strange about the column here. I guess I'll drag vision this column of this bridge. Similar to the pillars that you're near, they have a sort of a three-dimensional sort of carved snake, but it's got these really weird three lines that run like circle around it. So like three distinct circles, but like one at around 5 feet below the bridge, and one at about 10 feet below the bridge, and one at about 15 feet below the bridge, which is about 5 feet above the ground. They're these three like seams, kind of. And everything is carved very well, such that it's kind of hard to see the seams. But you've been now had several hours of being near this thing. You also notice that the fangs of the snake that are pictured protrude out like enough that you could actually like interact with them. Like you could put your hands all the way around them. The rest of the snake you can definitely feel if you were to put your hand on it. You could like feel its back. It's kind of like raised away from the carving of the pillar. But this actually almost like you could hold on to the fangs that are protruding out. Something else slightly tickles your brain that seems off, but it's tough to say what. What would you like to do?
Nix, you seen that?
Seems to direct your attention toward what, the fangs or just the pillar or what?
The pillar in general, but then specifically the fangs. Like, were those like that before? I don't think they were sticking out.
I can't say that I really was paying too much attention.
Well, Nick says he directs your attention to this. Please re-roll your perception check. So you don't know
It's an
whether the
improvement.
fangs were or weren't like that before. However, you do recall something that you were thinking outside, which is that the carving that you were looking at above the door. And as you look to the fangs, you look at the fangs for a second, and I don't know, I can't recall. But just a little bit away from the fangs, you notice the carving of the woman who's like bare chested, like fucking, her breasts are out or whatever, and her head is that of a snake. But unlike the carving on the door outside, the snake is not latched onto her. It almost looks like it's coiled, like it was going to strike her.
Um. Okay, can I look? We can see the other pillars. Are they all like different positions?
The pillars in the hallway that you guys are camping in are really just a straight row of pillars, and they contain various iconography of snakes and other creatures, but they
Like
don't.
do all the pillars have the woman and the snake?
No.
No, okay.
They contain snake-like creatures, and each is slightly different to the rest. But the only characters that seem to be duplicates are the pillar, the big pillar that holds up the bridge, and the carving outside of the door.
And the massive freaking snake that is pulling away from the column. It seems. How far into this shift are we?
Probably an hour.
Okay, so they would have been asleep in an hour till anybody else wakes up. I will not kick anyone awake yet. I'm gonna pull my sword out and just kind of. I'm gonna focus all my attention on it, and I want to see if I can catch it moving. That's really and then I'll prepare my action to, if necessary, to shout at the group to start waking up.
Okay, so you focus your attention on the pillar, waiting for it to strike. Nyx, what are you doing during this time?
I will be keeping an eye out. But I feel like I will also be curious and like watching the pillar.
Okay. Noted.
All the while we're getting robbed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. So, as you guys are watching the pillar and waiting for it to strike, for the next, several minutes, you watch it very, like with tension, both kind of having some feeling that the snake is pulling away from the pillar. But the longer that you look at it, the more you become certain that this is how it is carved. That it is carved very highly into 3 dimensions. But something does continue to kind of tickle your brain about it, like as if it's somehow out of place.
I'm gonna go pull on a thing then.
Okay.
Fuck it.
So, as you, how hard are you hoping to pull? Like,
I don't know. Like if just think anything that's like the size of what a baseball bat ish probably. You just jiggle it, a little back and forth action. If there's nothing on the first fang, I'll jiggle the other one. Put some solid force on it, but not
okay,
not
Go ahead.
actively like trying to snap the shit off or something.
Gotcha. Go ahead and make an athletics check. As
this will be
for
good.
the question, Duncan, it is third watch, so it's at the moment just Nyx and so you go to jiggle a fang. Nothing much really seems to happen. And you go to, interact with another one, and they feel pretty solid, but you feel like a little bit of movement. Not that the fangs are moving in the snake, but almost that something else feels like it shifted very slightly. But you didn't put that much force on it, so.
All right. I guess I'll just go kind of sit down in a little perch action. I'll keep my sword out just in case, and just I'll take some of my attention off of it and kind of just walk around, check out the wagons, make sure everything's good.
Okay, roger that. Nyx, you still, I don't know, looking at this snake waiting for it to come alive, or heading back to your watch?
I'll still keep an eye on it.
All right. The rest of your guys' shift passes in relative without incident, which leaves Xander and Karak for the last watch.
I will relay.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if it was I guess I'm whispering it to him so I'm not waking everybody up.
Yeah.
But I'll relay, like I don't know if it's just a trick of the changing of the light, the flickering of the torches. It's something we both like
Interesting.
noticed something weird with it.
I'll take a look.
Yeah.
I say, why don't you rest a little bit? Myself and Karak will take a look.
All right. Which means you can trance out, and Nyx can get her 2-hour nap in before morning. And that leaves Xander and Karak. So if you guys want to, well, it seems that you are directing some attention onto this column. I would say, are you mostly focusing on guarding, or are you mostly focusing on this column? That's a question to each of you.
I would tell Karak, look, guard the entrance at least. I'm gonna try to figure this out. That way we're not taken by surprise.
All right.
So,
You have
Eric,
fun with the snake.
Carrick, please make a perception check then for your watch, and
Yep.
if you would make an investigation check for me, Mr. Xander Alkadir.
Are you sure that's not perception?
Oh, yeah. I misclicked.
I
Oh,
quickly
that was
wake
even
up my
better.
brother. Hey, I need inspiration.
So that's a 10 for Carrick.
Mm.
Yeah, you don't have to reroll. It was just a different dice pool, but well, I mean, as you guys are waiting for daytime to come, Xander definitely seems weird to you, and like he said, the fangs are protruding, and there's some weird circles there. You're not really sure what to make of that. I
Are
don't know
there
if you-
any open like slots or like so you said there's some circles. Is there anything like I can notice that like with any like deepness? I mean, I know it was low investigation, but groove wise, if I'm literally touching. What I'm asking
Y-
is, I take out my blade and I'm looking if I can slot it.
Um, hmm. Okay. So as you follow that train of thinking, you do notice that there is a sort of a slot. Um, there's like a pinhole kind of compared to the size of the carving. I mean, it's fairly big, but it's not like super well defined. But a sort of a groove on the breast of the woman, on her left breast, but it sort of doesn't have one central divot. It sort of has two central divots. So like a sword sort of makes one protrusion. So the sword doesn't really do anything there.
So my blade would not necessarily fit, or just one wouldn't do anything.
It doesn't seem like it would be about the right size. These are more like,
Okay.
you know, sort of wider, deeper grooves that there's two of.
From our caravan, do any of the weaponry that we've taken off of them seem to fit the bill?
I mean, it doesn't really seem like any kind of like weapon that a person would wield
Okay,
would
so
go
it's
here.
maybe a tool. All right.
It seems they're like roughly the same size and shape as each other. These two sort of divots, but yeah, they're like fairly long, or
Okay.
and kind of wide.
Well, all right. Well, we don't seem to have what we need here, and if something happens, at least I have an eye on it.
Kara, in the meantime, has either let you guys down or has not. Uh, the night is extremely quiet during the last 2 hours of your sleep, going into the very, very early morning. Even the wind seems to have died down. As far as you can tell, everything's cool. It is the early hours of the morning. Like, you know, something in the neighborhood of like 5 o'clock in the morning. And your guys' shift is over. You can wake everybody else up.
I just say something like "Wakey, wakey, everyone." Luckily, none of us were accosted in the night, but we should get moving.
Wakey,
Jamie,
wakey, come look at Snakey.
Jamie, would you just do our provisions? Since we're going modest, most likely again.
Yeah, breakfast time is the right time to decide all that. So, unless there's any like last minute business, we'll get on the road. 5, 4, 3.
No, hold on, sorry.
I was
had
muted.
myself muted, yeah.
I want to look at this snake.
Okay. I mean, it's not difficult to notice. It's like a big pillar. It's a big column. But I'm sure if you ask around a bit, the information will be relayed to you by Xander or Messer. Messer got a pretty good look at it, I guess. I don't know what exactly Messer would share with you.
Tyler.
I would say, like especially after talking to Xander, where he noticed these two holes in it. I was messing with it, and it kind of felt like the fangs would move a little bit, but I don't know. I wasn't really able to force them to move or make them budge. Now, does it look like? I don't know. If I was to take my sword and kind of hold it up, the distance between the fangs, can I like put it up against where the holes are and see if it's about the same distance?
Why not just ask
I mean,
Rhea to move it?
it's a bit of a reach, but with the edge of your sword, you are about to. It seems roughly the same. Again, you're standing on the
This
ground.
shit moved.
Rhea, pull them fangs out. Use them muscles.
Hold it. I want to look and see if there's like see if I can find some sort of like activation switch or something that'll change this mouth to see if it'll close. If there's divots for the teeth, maybe closing the mouth will make it do something.
That's why we have Rhea. She can do it.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation, Ben.
God dang it!
As far as you can tell,
There.
you don't see any kind of a switch around, but maybe the teeth are some kind of switch, or a button or a lever or something.
Start pulling teeth.
I don't think
I'm
Rhea
gonna
can
smack
actually
it with
wants
my
to do anything
stick.
like that. Are you actually
so
gonna
let's
smack
do
it with
it.
your stick?
Yeah.
Why not?
Ask Rhea. Yeah.
I hit it with my quarterstaff. Just whack.
All right, you hit the snake with the quarterstaff. Go ahead and
Yeah.
make an attack if that's what you're doing.
Oh damn.
Okay.
There you go.
Ven is angry. He's mad. Investigation's supposed to be his bag.
I'm like, Ed, no.
Okay, so you hit it as hard as you can in the face, and you notice that it slightly moves. Not the teeth, not the snake on the pillar, but a part of the pillar slightly moves. Only for a second, and then it like moves back into position. If you guys watch my camera, so there's these three like rings, right? And as he hits the snake, the pillar shifts like this, and then snaps back into place. So like the snake briefly gets further away from the woman and then back.
We rotate the pillar then.
Okay.
I'll
is
grab
that-
one section.
Well, I was about to ask if there's multiple pillars that we have to do this to at the same time.
There's just like three sections
On the one.
on the one pillar.
Well, then I reiterate, Rhea, you being the strongest of us.
We'll attempt to
Yeah.
line up the
Happy to.
imagery.
Okay.
All right.
Rhea, please make an athletics check. I would say you have help, so you have advantage.
Cool.
I like Ved's attitude. By the way, attacking it results in a failure 10 out of 10 times, but, but you know. Okay, 14.
I was trying to say I tried to inspire her, but it was a little. I didn't.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. I mean, if you want, you can spend your D6 inspiration. It's up to you.
Are you doing it?
Yep.
Do we?
Okay. Oh, that's helpful. Okay. Now it's a 19.
Okay.
Yay!
So as you begin to push on it, it's the carving is like very weird, and the pressure that you have to apply is kind of weird. So you go at it with brute strength for a second, but then in the process of either being inspired by Xander or doing your absolute best to just block out whatever he's saying, you get a better feel for what you're holding on to, and you sort of shift your weight in a different way. It doesn't feel very natural. In fact, it kind of, as you're pushing on it, you almost sort of look like the way that a snake moves its upper body, because you're having to do this weird like overly fluid movement to get it to move, and slowly it begins to rotate around itself. And as you push and push, the tension seems to be like going up and up, and there's like a click at some point where it's sort of like the tension goes up and sort of rests back into some groove. As the rest of you guys are watching this, you can see that the teeth just sort of seem to get closer and closer to this point, and they don't sort of like snap down or anything, but as they just are, they sort of the pillars click into place against one another as these teeth are like now sort of touching these divots on that are carved onto the woman's breast. Not like they perfectly slot in or something, but just that they're now hovering there. And it takes a second for anything to appear to happen, insofar as nothing really seems to happen. But being that there's 7 of you standing around this thing, one of you goes, let's see, who will it be? Not Rhea, I know this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, Ved, as you're standing there watching this get rotated, you see that there's like a gap in the pillar, just like a small recess that has been sort of revealed. Not that it has opened, probably. It's just like a small opening that probably was always there and was covered up by some piece of the statue. Yeah, what would you like to do, Van?
I'm gonna look in there, and if there's anything in there, I'm gonna try and grab it quickly, just in case this thing tries to close. I would like to not lose a hand.
Okay.
Preferably.
Go ahead and make me a dexterity check. You can see that there's some small vial of something within there. Okay. So good news. Actually, that really should have been a save. Do you get any other bonus for a save?
I do actually.
Okay, so 5 instead of 4. So it would have been a 12. So that's good. That's good. Because the 12 is going to make a difference. It's an old mechanism. So add a DC of 12. So you reach your hand in and you get your hand around this small glass vial of something and you quickly pull it out. But as you're doing so, you realize that the channel is not of a standard height. So at the last second, you hear the bottle start to grind on the top and bottom, and you have to quickly like turn it to its left to sort of like pull it out sideways. And you do that just in time as a what the hell was that? Oh, sorry. As a piece from the roof, which is just a very small, like spring-loaded or something, flat stone, right? Just sort of like smashes down, and you barely get your hand out of the way. You don't get the impression that the stone hitting you would have done very much, but it would have shattered the bottle while your hand was on it. Inside, you can see this sort of like murky liquid, which is stoppered up very well. Like there's no air leakage or anything. It's watertight and seems like it might be airtight as well. You can't smell anything from the inside, for example. So
I'm just gonna hold it up and tells Andrew like, "Hey, look what I found."
Well, I'm glad you didn't lose your hand over it. Not, I'm guessing none of us know what it is. Something for us to try to ascertain later, but we should probably be getting on our way now that we've had our fun.
Also, I would have like spent a section of the morning like focusing in on these boots, trying to see if I could just kind of like ascertain any type of information from them.
And also, Trevor, if I had worn the armor, would that have? I don't know if this is an attunable item, but wearing it, do I notice any change?
Other than the fact that it's adjustable to your size and seems very nice, fits you pretty well. Other than that, as far as you could tell, it is armor. You know, it's this feeling of safety being inside some armor, but still, you're gonna want to try to get out of the way of stuff. As far as Well, you know what? I suppose each of you could make me an Arcana check. That's actually more appropriate than just answering with some garbage. Okay. Oh, sorry. By each of you, I meant the two of you that were just going. Although, I suppose, if we are spending some time, then you don't really learn much of. No, it's murky. It's kind of clear, but like not quite water. It's kind of thick, and it has a sort of an oily look to it, like oil on water. At times, there's like a slight rainbow effect. Silk, what you can tell is that pretty much what I described before, but the translucence does seem to be like equally across the thing. Like it's only ever in a small spot, but it does move, and if you look at it long enough, the translucence will have been on every part of it over the course of an hour. So it's only like an inch a wide little piece at any given time that's translucent, but over the course of a long enough time, the whole thing will have slowly gone, will have been translucent, like any specific place. And they're very light. Like you could forget you were holding them or carrying them quite easily. So you put them on. You feel sort of the chill and like the rush of air. I want you to imagine as you put your feet down in these things, like those shoes that have a cushion of air inside them. And you seem sort of a bit lighter on your feet. For now, that's all you can really. Your movement speed has gone up by 5. As for Xander, so you study this pretty extensively, and it doesn't seem overly complicated, based on the fact that it's so in such good condition despite all the fighting. You would guess it to have some kind of enchantment of protection, and you do feel quite safe wearing it, as you come to understand that. So it is a +1 studded leather. What that means is it increases your AC by 1 more than normal, and your DR by 1 more than normal. So normally studded leather gets, I want to say, 2 DR. So
Yeah.
this would be 3 DR, and also adds 1 to your natural AC. So
Oh, so like on top of my dex, so it'll like
Mhm.
it pushes the window.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in other words, if you would top out with an AC of 15 for having +5 dex, this would mean that it could be 16 without the use of a shield, on top of giving you the extra damage resist. So, so yeah. This being said, that's what you guys have managed to learn, and it does not come with socks, I'm afraid. The boots. I'm sure you guys have your own means about that. So, this being said, you've learned what you've learned, but as far as you can tell, that's as much information as you're getting for now. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting too much time.
Yep. I'd say, as I said, we've had a decent amount of fun here. We should probably get on the road.
Refresh my memory, Trevor. We still get the benefits of a long rest, but not like the actual safe rested space, right?
So we're doing. Actually, I meant to bring this up to you guys. I realized that according to what I put in the chat, I've been doing resting wrong, but we'll deal with that during your next excursion. So basically, what we have been doing is that you don't get all your hit dice back. You get all your abilities back. You regain half your hit dice, and you spend your hit dice as would be normal in order to. So like, kind of like a big short rest is a long rest, but you get all your abilities back. Spells, stuff like that. Some other time we'll go over the excursion resting thing, since that was the whole point, and so far we haven't been doing it, but this has served us well enough till now.
We don't have much hit points really, so a short rest is a long rest.
Yeah, except
I
for
was
the
just most
ability
worried
part.
about my my long rest condition abilities.
Yeah, those come back.
Yes. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
those
Okay.
back spells, whatever. So, hitting the road then to Al Harir. You guys set off through these canyons. The sun is, or the morning is, is late, because the sun has such a hard time even showing down. It's by the time that you guys feel it is morning, by the amount of sunshine and stuff. By the time the sun is starting to crest over the mountains, you've probably been traveling for a few hours by that point. And yes, Silk, as you walk, it seems to be like you're walking on like a little cushion of air. But other than that, as far as you can tell, yeah, they're very comfy. Magic item, comfortable shoes. So you begin to descend over the course of the day down this mountain pass. Generally, again, it's going to go up, it's going to go down around curves and stuff, but generally seems to be sloping down. And at the end of your day's travel, the big map, yes. Maybe. I don't... will it not let me? There we go. Yeah, so, by the end of this day's travel, you guys come to a prominence, which is... I don't think I drew the roundabout right. I guess it would be more like over here. The road. But you guys come to like a prominence that allows you... It's like a kind of a flat plateau. You're not going to get much better place to camp out than that. But it allows you a view down into very distantly the city of Al Harir. So like either tomorrow or the following day, you can kind of gauge that you will arrive at Al Harir one of those 2 days. But what you can see from here is there's kind of a wide, flat plain off to the east of Al Harir. The mountains are sort of like in a nook behind it, and then off to the west, you can see where the mountains sort of form a passage, disappearing off into somewhere you can't see, because there's a mountain sort of in your way as you look further west, but you can see the passage up until the mountain cuts it off. But it seems like there's some way through the mountains in that direction. Your path is going to lead you slightly to the west and then seem to hook down around, at which point you'll be following the shores of this big lake. The lake looks very murky, but it is probably the most fresh water in one place that any of you have seen. Fresh water. For any of you who came from the south, you might have crossed the Barasot, but that's like salt water. It's quite big. You could travel for like a day along its shores, which is a lot of fresh water as far as you guys would be concerned. Maybe even 2, depending if you took the full, its widest point. But you notice, especially those of you who have been here before, the last time you would have been here, you would of course remember that there's a sort of a second town outside of the gates of the city. And it seems to have grown since last you guys were here. It is built along the shores. I say built very loosely, but it is erected along the shores, the eastern shoreline of this big lake, and it is ramshackle as all hell. There are some of it is built out of like building materials, semi-permanent. Some of it is thrown together out of whatever. Some people are living in tents. Some people seem to just be sleeping on the ground. You could never ever get away with that if you were in Umara stock. Your sleeping bag would rot and stuff. But there are many people that are just sort of, and again, you're at a great distance, but it just seems to be this chaotic mess of a place. And then just beyond it is this extremely austere, official seeming city, high walls. I suppose imagine like Helm's Deep looking proudly from the mountain, if you want. Obviously, architecture is a bit different, but and this sort of shanty town, just seeming to be living in the shadow of this thing. There is the road that you guys will be taking does pass directly through the shanty town, but the shanty town is built away from what you would say is the main road, which is beat quite a bit wider and would not move through the mountains. That's the one pictured on the map as the like arrows moving south. So, yeah, this is where you guys will be camping for the night. If you guys want to mark off your rations for the morning.
Throughout the day, have we noticed that we've been able to get use of magic back?
Oh, yeah, that's my bad. Thank you for that reminder. It would have probably been an hour and maybe a half of an hour and a half straight of walking? No, that's a huge distance. I'm sorry. Although you guys were doubling back. So it's difficult to say exactly how far you were, but yeah, something like an hour flat before of traveling roughly away from it, curving back, going up mountain, down mountain, before you're able to start hearing Sanders' messaging as anything other than him annoyingly whispering into his hands, which I'm sure Silk was really appreciating all of the whispering on that march.
She keeps on like
So
twisting her head like, is there something fucking following
yes, the moment Ved can hear me, I'm okay, great. And then I take a moment to take 10 minutes while the cart's moving to ritual cast comprehend languages.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know if that's going to cause any, since it is a level 1 spell.
Yeah, roger that. It does not seem to. As far as you can tell, things seem relatively stable here.
And that's when I'll start speaking in Elvish. Like he might not understand. I don't know how much he'll understand, but I tried to talk to our captive a little bit, being like, "So, friend, what was that all about?" Or just trying to see if I can prompt him to speak, even though he's still hooded.
So, he says back to you, and I'll translate this, but he says back to you, "Ustanas muth converswil, us de dos valere," which basically he says, "I will not converse with one of your kind."
And that's when I say, that's not a really nice thing to do. After all, I mean, you do have the upper hand. I don't know if he responds to that.
Hold on,
Are
he
you
has
telling us
something
what he
very
said?
He
I mean, I would just repeat back. Yeah, he doesn't seem to want to talk to one of my kind.
So he as you say that he says, "Velbolaj bagumash dostret unsas wilworth dagan yumurdost." And then what that basically means is, I don't know what fate you could threaten me with that would be worse than hearing your abhorrent tongue.
I then turn to Rhea and I say, "Could you remind him why he's in this predicament? I've got to take care of him, but anyone can play for me in the moment while I'm taking care of my son."
Okay.
Would he
So,
rather I remove his ears?
in a moment of insanity, Xander rips the bag off the guy's head and frees him from the chains and says, "Go, go." Oh, sorry. I would
Give him a
imagine
running head start. I'll catch up.
I would imagine that that's something like what Xander has in mind. Meaning that was directed toward Messer. I don't know, Rhea, what you want to do about this guy. Seems like Xander wants to help, though.
On top of the, like, what is our plan with this guy?
Entirely no.
Yeah, I'm not clear on that.
Are we? Will he talk?
Playing it by...
I'm gonna ask this dude if he'll talk to me.
In what language are you talking to?
Common, and then again I'll use I only speak Common and Elvish, so I'll use those two. Whichever one if he can understand it, waiting for the translation.
So, after these attempts, the captive goes, "Ha, ustan shluta barli compayun," which is translated for you by Xander to mean, "I can barely understand what the fuck you're saying."
But you can understand.
Are you speaking Keysmar, like the local Elven dialect?
Yes.
Or
If you chose
I
L with
would.
the character creation, that's what that is. Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
I like how half of
Is
this
he-
party can understand you, but me and like Kara, I can't.
So, what he responds back with after you say you can understand is, "Zonzixoandos valirin funatabil." Xander says, just kind of like goes, he says, "I understand you well enough to know that your kind are a blight, which is very not polite.
I
almost feel
will
like this
slap
guy
him
is
in the
trying
face.
to."
Is he speaking like I understand he's speaking like a different dialect, but is he still speaking a variant of Keysmar?
No, you have no
Like,
idea what the fuck he's saying, but Xander does.
Hmm.
So, what he says after you slap him is he says, "Zundos talendaruk deliandu tremanielin." And after a second, Xander goes, "This guy really, really thinks he's tough."
I will kick him square in the shin.
So,
Stop
and
it.
then he repeats a part of what he said, and he says, "Ustan dwatrimelin." And that's basically the same thing he just said. Xander says, okay. He's saying that he's a son of the underworld and does not fear death. And then he starts laughing.
If we
There are
don't,
fates worse than death.
if we don't intend on selling him into slavery, and we don't intend on essentially like letting him go, you know,
Well,
let's have some fun with him. Apparently, he's all lip.
we
Are
should
there any-
strip him down
Give him-
completely naked and
No,
then tie
give him-
his shoelaces around his feet like he was wearing shoes and just set him on his way.
I see.
I want to be even meaner.
No.
Are there any birds nearby?
Possibly.
What are you saying, Silk?
I was gonna say, if we're going into the city, then we're going to have some time to rest up. I say give him a sword and let him fight me. He wants a warrior's death, I'll give him one.
I mean, I'll fight him. Either way.
Okay, so is that the plan?
Sure. So
Okay,
Blade
so-
pulls out her blades and she's like gesturing to kind of like the cart that we have. It's like either he'll try to fight me or he'll try to run.
Yeah, I'm gonna make. I assume at this point we've taken the bag off his head. So I'll ask him if he wants a chance. He can fight the beautiful Silk here, or I can just cut his head off and be done with it since he's not afraid of dying.
Honestly, if he knocks me unconscious, I say we just let him go. I think that guy will have a
Between
story.
the two of you,
Yeah.
he looks between the two of you, and he's squinting in the light, and he says, fuck it, I'll just translate it. It's taking too long to like put it back and then forth. He says in his language, which Xander then translates. He goes, apparently he's under the impression that Silk is our leader and our finest warrior, and he wants her.
All true things. So she pulls out her scimitar and dagger, and it's like, all right, let's do it. Take him out of the manacles.
As he's being unhooked from the manacles, he looks in Xander's direction, and he says something to him very calmly. And Xander's face just kind of like starts to grow with like incredulity and a little bit of like upset, and he's like, motherfucker. And you notice him starting to like look at his armor that he's wearing with a sense of like as if he's trying to examine it, meaning Xander's looking at the armor he himself is wearing, trying to examine it for damage or something. It does look rather pale, whatever leather this is made of. So, with this, he's taken out of the manacles. Do you guys hand him a weapon, or do you like give him a choice of weapons, or what?
I'm gonna use a short sword.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have my sword drawn, but I'll hand him hilt first, short sword. And then I'll look at Silk. 100% on this?
Definitely. People I used to run with, we kind of did this a lot.
So he takes the sword for a second, and with his foot he puts a line on the ground, and then back toward him. So like across him, and then back toward him. And he rests the blade of the short sword into the ground, like the tip of it, into that little mark that he just made. And he says, Xander seems preoccupied to like he hears him, but he doesn't translate. Maybe there's no point. So, and then he raises up his short sword, and let's kick this off. So, being that it's a duel, we're gonna do an initiative pass every round. So it's possible you might go back to back, or he might. But the first round, obviously, you guys are each gonna get a turn. Ready? We're gonna do this on 3. I don't think maneuvering on a map is gonna really do us any good. 3, 2, 1. Initiative. Okay, you are up first. So he takes a few steps forward as you.
Alright, I'm sorry. There's one thing I want to pull up, which is the martial prowess.
Sounds like you might be flat-footed.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't look through. So, I'm going to, with my action, I'm going to attempt to disarm him immediately.
Okay, and what happens there? How do we?
So, an attack roll contested by a athletics or acrobatics check.
Okay. Seconds. For acrobatics. So.
Fucking bully.
Oh, okay. I doubt it. I highly doubt it, but give your attack.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was wrong. You can do much better than that. So immediately off the rip, with your first attack, I don't imagine you just smash it out of his hand. I imagine that you probably lock.
No,
up
he
with him.
he goes to like stab out with a short sword, and Silk like immediately like does a wrapping technique with her scimitar and like essentially like forces it out of his grip like with the tip of her blade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like almost coiling around it like your scimitar is a snake or something, and like just awkwardly like jetting it out of his hand at an awkward angle, and it comes clattering to the ground a few feet away.
All right, and then technically, I don't think that really constitutes as an attack, would it? I think that's kind of your choice. It does say in place of
In
two
terms of
weapon
what?
attacks, because if I take an attack action, then I can use my bonus action to attack with my offhand weapon.
I mean, in place of an attack action, yeah. I mean, I suppose you would then have your offhand.
Okay. So then, and I don't really get a sneak attack, just the dagger, but a 20.
20 to hit for 4 damage. Okay, so, and after you have disarmed him, you come in, you slash across him. I mean, he is still wearing his armor, as are you. But you draw a little drop of his blood out from beneath, and you see him just like.
I'll tell him to pick it up.
He will slowly go down to pick it up, and then shoot out in your direction suddenly, like trying to, get in a little sneak attack or whatever. But he does slightly overextend himself. That is going to be a 15 to hit.
Nope, 16.
No. Okay, he does slightly overextend himself, and you like just with your parrying dagger, just probably like throw that in front of yourself, and just the tip slides across your armor harmlessly. It is initiative again. 3, 2, 1. Once again. Okay. So with him having his weapon back, he went to go pick it up, so he like went down for a knee, and then like shot up in a pivoting maneuver, and just barely drags the blade across your armor harmlessly as you like get your dagger in the way. At which point
All right, she's going to essentially like slice out with the scimitar, trying to take advantage of that lull and him grabbing the blade. 19.
19's gonna hit for sure.
So that's
Ooh.
6 damage.
He's very lucky, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
So, yeah, you slash in his direction, and being that his blade is already like dragging across your armor, so it comes across like such, and as he comes back, he just pulls it back in toward himself, nearly like smashing himself in the nose with the flat of his blade, and kind of like backs that out of the way as you slash in with your dagger. To do nice, a 20 to hit, definitely. Oh, for 6 points of damage. So let's see. The last thing would have been 3 plus 3, so he's taken 7 actual damage so far. Oh. At which point you land your first real good hit on him. A stab which goes through the armor and clearly hits something vital. He begins to breathe through his nose.
His nose?
Searching for... Yeah. Okay. Shit. I wish I could have pulled this up faster. Oh, this is it. This is it. Or is it not? Where the fuck is it? Oh, okay. I figured he probably has, and it would clog things up too bad to use this in a real combat, but I figure he probably has a short sword technique. Like possibly an abundant. That'll be his last resort, I guess. For the meantime, he is going to strike out with one more desperate attempt. He charges in your direction, just kind of trying to keep on the inside. Yeah, that is going to hit. That's 17 to hit, so it'll hit for full. But for 5 damage, though. But he does draw blood on you to at least some degree.
She nods her head in respect, like, okay.
And he's quickly realizing that he's pretty much outmatched. But as you are striking, well, Actually, we gotta do initiative again. This
Yeah.
is probably the last pass. 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Oh.
beats me.
And realizing that he is quite outmatched, since he's on the inside of your guard, instead of like trying to get back to range or whatever, he almost goes in for like a hug and smashes the hilt of his weapon toward your neck. At which point, it would seem that you duck it, or maybe just like
I parry it off with the scimitar, and then just immediately go to essentially like follow up with the dagger just to put it like right into his neck.
okay, roger that.
Let's see.
And he is going to attempt. Oh,
Oh,
you stab for his neck, and he just steps in that half step closer to where like you're now sort of locked up. You're eye to eye. You're like an inch from each other. Your scimitar, your parry, was against his blade, so that he couldn't really like smash you into your neck, and it just sort of like locked up. You go to stab him, and he moves in, and with his offhand, he's like now got your dagger arm, and he's heavily bleeding, and he's like holding your blade near to his body and just holding your hand against him so that you can't move.
no.
I'd like to slow clap and say to him while slow clapping, like, "You are doing terrific."
As for your scimitar attack, he does have his single technique, which is the Abwenden. I think in order for him to, he has to use his reaction and attack against your attack. If it exceeds the triggering attack roll, it misses. So he's got to make a 19 or die. That is an 18.
Okay, so as he's like stepped in to grab my hand with the other, like with the dagger in it that's like almost pressed against his neck, he's like essentially lost focus on the scimitar, and like Silk essentially like wraps her arm out of the parry and just drives it straight like into his stomach, like clear out the other side.
Yeah, and as you're doing that, you can see him execute this beautiful like parry as it, but just narrowly, like it scratches across the top of your scimitar. He would have needed to be maybe a half an inch lower to have saved his life. His short sword just makes a little scrape, like a little notch, almost like he notched his own kill into your blade along the flat of your scimitar. And
As he's like essentially like stabbed through with the scimitar and he's bleeding out, Silk like leans in close to him and says, "You're a good warrior. Maybe the dream will preserve you." And she just pulls it out and blood just dumps out of him.
Well, that was anticlimactic, and then I'm gonna climb back into the wagon.
yeah, he falls with a
What did
heavy thud.
What did I notice, by the way? Like, apparently, the last thing I heard before I left to take care of stuff was like, I was like, "God damn it," or something.
Well, your armor has slightly changed color. What he said to you was, you know you're supposed to keep that out of the sun.
Mm.
Is it ruined, or am I able to like kind of put it in something?
We're going to find that out together. I wouldn't feel right rolling for you. You have not been in direct sunshine the whole time. You are in the mountains pass. You've noticed some kind of discoloration. I would like you to roll me a D100.
Give me a moment.
Okay. You would not know this yet, so you can continue to act all pissed off and worried about it. But no, not quite. Thanks to the fact that you've only been in brief, intermittent sunshine. Although it has taken a strange color, it seems not to have been enough to actually ruin it. But you are going to want to cover that up very thoroughly.
If I put a cloak over my armor, would that be sufficient?
Yes, but just keep in mind the limitations that's going to bring you. You like anytime anything happens, assume you are wearing a cloak if it's in daytime, which means it can get caught in stuff. It can get hot under there because you're having to keep it like
Yep.
completely covered, etc., etc. But
Got it.
yeah. So thankfully, it is not just now a mundane set of exotic leather armor, and is in fact a magic one still. But I don't know that there would be a way to know that immediately. um,
Fair enough. All right.
but yeah, he also said something just before the fight, some kind of prayer or something, that didn't seem to help him.
Yeah, it didn't seem to. Yep.
Something about the only
Well,
word being death, or the
well,
only.
that was a nice little interlude, and then I assume we just did what we did, where we moved on, and then I guess it was the following evening.
Yeah, on that prominence that overlooks the shanty town and Al Harir's walls. So a day, maybe two, from Al Harir, which means provisions for the next day. And my encounter roll. Okay. Would anybody care for to roll me? Where the hell is it actually? Sorry, my rules are down here.
I refuse
D12.
to do it on the
Ariel.
grounds that I can't roll worth a shit today.
Ariel, roll the real die.
I'll roll the real
D12.
die. Oh, D12. Let me grab that.
Unprepared.
A 3.
Okay. So as you stare down at Al Harir and make your camp for the night in the setting sun, it is a it's probably still relatively light out when you guys have to set up. I mean, there's only so many places to set up that are any good, and just having to camp somewhere stuck on a road, not always the best. So there's a little bit of sunshine left, but it's sort of like overcast enough to be quite comfortable. And as the night comes, it's a sort of it's not a biting cold. The mountains, unlike the desert around, seem to keep some heat in them. So you guys are able to relax in comfort. The day that you have left being not too hot, and then in the night, the biting chill of the desert not setting in. If it weren't for the light, you wouldn't even need a fire or anything, except to cook by and stuff. One of the very uncommon times where things are actually just sort of comfortable out on the road. Which I suppose actually would have some effect on how you guys rest. It wouldn't be much, but each of you guys wake up with 4 temporary hit points for the day. So,
Like an extra bonus fourth of my health, so I'm not gonna bitch.
well, it was a D4, so I was expecting it to be like a hit point, a temporary hit point. You slept unusually well, considering that you're on the road, which are quite harsh. But sometimes you just catch a break. And on this nice plateau with the sun setting over this horrific shanty town, romantically backlighting Al Harir, just a nice, comfortable, quiet evening. So, hopefully when you guys marked off provisions, and we'll do our next day of travel, which may or may not be our last one for Al Harir. It will definitely be the last one before the shanty town, though. So, just gonna do my little. Okay. Who else wants to roll a d12 and also mark off your provisions?
That's what I'm working on right now.
I vote Rhea again.
Worked out well last time.
Look, Cody.
I'm
Take
I'm
it.
not doing it anymore. Yeah, Cody can do it.
A 12.
A d12, yeah. Okay, a 6. I may have to ask you to roll another
Not
thing,
a
but
6.
okay.
Hey,
So
perfectly average.
as you are making your way to the north, you become aware of some clouds overhead that seem to hold out for most of the day. Of course, it's very unlikely during the. It's very unlikely to get any rain while traveling. It's really other weather that you need to be worried about. But several hours into your walk, you do feel the beginnings of a sprinkling of rain, just a sort of a warm, pleasant rain from above. Which, you know, is kind of refreshing and is your first taste of fresh water that hasn't been, you know, sitting in a canteen or isn't made into a very weak beer. And yeah, it's not oppressive. In fact, it's barely there, but it's just a sort of a light sprinkling. For those of you wearing sort of, you know, cloaks and stuff, some of it kind of just sprinkles onto you, and you all kind of shimmer as you walk, kicking off the occasional droplet of water. Okay, once again, that was basically uneventful. A reward in and of itself. So, having to stop for the night, tomorrow you will reach the shanty town and perhaps Al Harir, depending, depending your choices. So, go ahead and mark off your provisions, and we'll have one last D12, and this one will be sort of modified as you're moving through a very
I
specific
assume we lose the temp HP for now.
Unfortunately, yes. It short-lived, but it does come for free, so I don't expect to hear any whining. Yeah, well, you are about to pass through a shantytown, so you never know. Okay, Al-Qadir is 7. Oh, well, that's sort of only makes sense, I guess.
By the way, we have like 2 more days of modest living, so when we get in the city, we will need to buy supplies.
Yeah, of course. We're nearly there. We have so much to sell now.
Yeah.
We're, after all, a merchant company. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Maybe we should take some time to maybe clean the blood off of the armor.
But yeah, of
Since
course,
we're
I
near
would
fresh
take-
water right now.
Yeah. Take time to do that. Between me and Messer, I would try to start forging documents of like merchant stuff, like to try to like.
Oh, I
sell
would've
them on a
been-
merchant.
Yeah, I would have been working on that from the get-go. Like,
Yeah,
because
fair
I
enough.
had started working on those before we even left. It doesn't affect me at all, but did his armor, did we notice through the night, did it get any of its original coloring or anything back?
As you guys look it over, it does not seem to be, the clock does not seem to be rolling back. Some damage has clearly been done to it, but something to keep in mind for the future. As you guys are cleaning your blood off in the water, you notice that it leaves some like murk behind. This water is not particularly exactly clean. It's not salty. It smells a bit stale, perhaps. And there's certain other smells with it, and you can see off in the distance there are some people who are clearly bathing in it, which is quite some distance from you, and leaving their you know, whatever behind, whatever muck was on them, coming out sort of clean, kind of. But yeah, you guys are able to kind of get your armor clean in this water, but it's just enough to sort of get the blood off. It feels a little kind of sticky afterwards. But yeah, I'm sure Messer has been drawing up documentation of some reasonably convincing paperwork. Reasonably convincing documentation is what I was trying to say. So for the rest of you, as you are,
I would have added an inventory as well.
oh yeah, like of that we travel carrying curiosities from the Underdark, numbering or from the Underworld, or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that is mostly now what you guys have.
Mhm.
So, yeah, as you guys are traveling toward the shanty town, you can see that you know, on the outskirts of it, that some people do sort of regard you as you pass, and it's a very like energetic seeming place. By energetic, I mean like it seems everyone is on edge. You can see a fair few people seem to be sick and or malnourished. There are. Let me make sure that I got this right to give you some idea. There are a lot of people in this town, like a dizzying number, like tens of thousands of people living outside the walls of this city. To the point where the shantytown itself is like bigger than most towns that you guys would be familiar with. There might be as many people in this shantytown that's like a day's walk from the gates of Alharir as there are in Umaristok. And they are living in pretty desperate conditions. That you can see sickness. You can see people who are horribly malnourished. Some just sleeping on the ground and in improvised shelters. There's very few buildings to speak of. As you pass, people do sort of eye you, but most of them have a sort of dispossessed resolution that you see in some people who have gone so far into poverty or starvation that they just simply are wasting and are they don't even have the energy to move very much. Those who are up and walking around seem very nervous and on edge. You guys are regarded and given a fairly wide berth, as all of you seem to be carrying weapons. And, some among you being like reasonably tough-looking characters. There are several people that you see passing that seem very interested in the contents of your cargo. People like trying to, climb up on stuff and like get a look at what you guys are carrying. On your way down this road, which, like I said, the shantytown has been constructed right on the mountain pass road, which is not the main one. They have been. It seems that for whatever reason they could not build on or near the main road, which you notice is being patrolled right now. There are travelers going up the main road off to your northeast, to and from. Yeah, I would say to and from, since the sandstorm is probably gone by now. And you can see patrols of some guards on. I mean, a few would be on camelback, but you notice these strange, sort of skittering, large beetle-like creatures occasionally. You can tell the guards even from a distance. They're wearing an actual like uniform. The ones that are patrolling the roads, and the people that are on the backs of these like large skittering insects, they kind of look like a big beetle. They are wearing the same sort of uniform. So apparently, this is one of the official riding mounts of the Alharir patrols. But as you guys are making your way up your road, which is a lot smaller, go ahead.
I'll tell everybody to just kind of keep going here, and then I would like to jog over to those guards or the patrol.
Oh, the ones when I say to your northeast, I'm talking about in the distance on the horizon.
Oh, okay.
There's like a big main road that you can see on the map that is like along this axis.
I got you.
Around like that. You guys are sort of like through here. So, but yeah, this section you don't notice a guard presence really at all. And it is apparent from the fact that there are people who have clearly been stabbed and are just laying in the street, and no one's done anything about it. Some people have been heaped into sort of piles, somewhat away from some structures. There is a few bodies floating in the water. There does not seem to be any law of any kind here, other than most of the people here seem far too weak to really do much of anything. But you do notice pass a building. It's not the only like structure, but it is one of the few, which has a large, very crudely sort of painted in whitewash on like a flat board. Above the door is what appears to clearly be an insignia of an hourglass. But then there's some sort of figure standing behind it that is kind of sloppily painted on there. it's really hard to tell who that's supposed to be. It's a man as far as you can tell, but like a man behind an hourglass, and that's really all the artistry is at work there. But yeah, you can see that there is somebody standing just outside of this structure who's like giving you all not a very welcoming vibe. He doesn't seem to bother anyone, but doesn't seem very interested to to be entertaining guests or anything. He looks fairly like skinny, at least compared to your average mercenary, but he does have a sort of a dangerous eye. I presume you guys are powering on in the direction of Al-Harir.
No
I don't
need to
care.
lollygaggy. Or lollygag.
No. So, it is getting to be a bit late. You are still within the confines of the shantytown. My question is, are you guys going to try to find a spot in the town to rest for the night, or are you going to do a forced march into Al-Harir?
I
I
don't
say we're
think,
almost here. Let's just force march.
I think
I
we need to
agree.
finish. Yeah.
And I'd rather
Okay.
not,
We don't.
with all of our goods,
If
be hanging
something-
out in the shantytown.
If something happens and we have to cut one person down and then it becomes a swarm, we get distracted here. A group of people come and attack the wagon here. It's not worth it. We just keep going.
I'm getting
Okay.
kind of
Take out
tired
my
of digging graves.
espresso and Red Bull.
So, I guess to make this less horrible to actually run, I would just say who's got the most averagest Constitution saving throw. I would imagine on a group whole, it's
I have a 2.
I have a +1.
I imagine that +1 is probably the average if you took everybody's out. So we'll just for everybody who's
I don't
below
want to do it.
everybody who's below a +1, obviously will fail if you fail. But go ahead and for your first hour movement, go ahead and make a Constitution save.
But my dice are bad.
Oh.
I don't
It
want
doesn't have to be you. It just has to be a +1.
Oh,
But,
see?
okay. So DC 11. It's going to be probably 4 more hours. So 4 more checks. It could be by anyone, but just we're doing it at a +1.
I'll do one too.
Okay, go ahead. DC 12. Okay.
D20.
At a +1, so that's a 13. Okay. DC 13. Who's got one?
Ariel.
Nope.
Next. Roll D20.
Out of 7.
No.
Okay.
No.
So, everybody, unfortunately, is going to take a level of exhaustion from the late heat and having to keep pushing on, and as you're running out of time, you're starting to have to go faster. It's just 1 level of exhaustion thus far, but it is now DC 14, and then I think the last one is 15. So I need 2 more volunteers. I need a natural 13 and a natural 14.
I'll try
We're doing it 5 times? Isn't this our third? We've just
Oh,
done
you're
2
right,
rolls.
you're right. So it'll just be 1 more.
Do it.
Oh.
Ugh.
Okay. Only makes sense. It's getting harder and harder and harder as you go. So
It's only our speed that gets halved.
by the time that you
That's
guys
3.
get into town,
That's 4 total rolls.
Yeah, but we're only level 2 exhaustion, right? That's just disadvantage on checks and saving throws.
No.
disadvantage on checks and speed halved.
Yeah.
So by the time that
Motherfucker.
you guys get into town, you're pretty weary from the sun having baked you and from having to keep your eyes on all of these different people as they're moving around. I mean, thousands of people. Luckily, you're not the only thing in town to look at, but yeah, by no means is that an easy move. And you're starting to feel a little not sharp, and your legs are starting to get heavy. You've been baking in the sun. You really, really need some clean, fresh water, which you're not going to find out here. Finally, you arrive at the, well, I guess this would technically put us into a new traveling day. But it's only a partial. So here's what I'll do. Whoever's rolling your d12, you roll twice, and we'll take the less eventful one. I'll give you that. And this is only a partial traveling day.
Austin.
Austin, 2d12. Wow. So 3, no matter what. Okay. Luckily, 3.
At least we get the
is-
least eventful.
luckily 3, yeah. Luckily 3 is a fairly uneventful. So what happens is, the rains that we're carrying yesterday hit you guys like it. There is a very short, heavy downfall of rain from those clouds as you're like nearing to the walls of Al Harir, and it's being how miserable the march has been, and like every day's been a little harder than the last, and you've been bleeding, and now you've been baking in the sun, and it's just been unbearably hot, and you're moving past all this stench and filth and watching your back, and finally, as you're like 10 to 20 minutes from the gates of Al Harir, this rain just comes like purges you guys of like whatever horrible experience you've just been through. You're still pretty tired and stuff, but it's just like a little gift from above, and very unseasonal. So this brings you guys to the gates of Al Harir, which it is nighttime. They are closed, but they're manned with a pretty, hefty security force. As far as you can tell, there's no visible like siege weapons or something. There's not like ballistae. But there are pretty solid, sturdy gates, well patrolled and well manned, should I say? So as you guys are approaching with your caravan, you're being watched by, the guards, but one guy in particular who's not openly brandishing a weapon, who's just sort of leaning over the parapet there, says, "The gates are closed for the night. What exception we make for you?"
Please, sir, we've been. No.
"And what is your business in Al Harir?"
I say nothing. I just
Anyone-
cast shatter on the gate.
Uh,
I'm just kidding.
I'm more than happy to speak.
I'll,
but I'm willing. Yeah, anyone else can if they want to.
I'll hold up our documentation and I'll introduce Xander.
I know, obviously.
Well, because I assume I'm
I'll
out front.
say-
I'm acting as our mercenary guard.
Yeah. I'll say, sir, I respect the customs, and I respect your your desire to keep the city safe. But we've been traveling for 2 days straight and are exhausted. We have a number of goods that we wish to bring into the city, which of course you're more than welcome to inspect.
And services as we-
and to find an inn for the evening so that we can sell our goods throughout the market. Would you please just inspect us so that we can go in, so we show that we are we're of no consequence to your fair city?
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
At disadvantage because we are. I turned to Ed to like give me a little bit of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I am going to inspire you.
Yeah, right before he starts trying to talk to this guy, he looks at you, Ved, like, "Oh, I should have had a V8."
So yeah, I'm gonna use the D6.
Go
That's
ahead.
an 8.
You got it. You can do it. Come on, Ved. Okay, it's an 11.
11.
That's at least like
Yeah.
even odds.
That's at least
Like
So-
I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm saying like I understand the lateness or the hour. I understand all of these things. But if you inspect us, please, you'll notice we have weaponry and armor to sell, and we have other knickknacks and whatnots.
So after a moment, you see, you hear some kind of noise. Like he sort of like thinks about this for a second. He looks over you. He gives a sort of like, and he disappears from the wall for a second. And then you hear this noise, and you see this like wooden platform on this like on this rope mechanism, kind of like a window washer thing, slowly being lowered down, with three guys on it. The one you were speaking to is not among them, but yeah, with three guardsmen on it, all being lowered down. They're armed and stuff. And as they get lowered down to the ground, they step off of this sort of platform, and it is quickly like, well, actually, I don't think it would be raised back up. It's literally just on ropes. There's no like, there's no danger that you guys are gonna like commandeer the elevator or something.
While they're coming down, I'm going to cast Minor Illusion on Xander's sword to make it look like a completely mundane sword.
Oh, the sword that I have, that one is hidden on me usually.
Yeah, and it's a short sword, sort of. It's not that difficult to keep it tucked away.
Yeah, I mean it's also sheathed.
Yeah. In any case, the three guards approach you guys, and yeah, you can see them just sort of like walking to and from. They look to you guys. They look sort of to each other, quietly, well, silently, really, just by means of a look here and whatever, seeming to communicate about something. One of them finally, seeming to have made his assessment, asks for your documentation. I should have said. While he's doing that, another one will have kind of seeming to have made an assessment. Say, normally we're not in the business of letting people in at this hour, but we're sympathetic to the danger of the outside, and you don't seem like you're from around here. I would caution you to try not to do this again. This refugees in the south are causing quite some problems. He looks to the guy checking out the documents, who just sort of like,
Yeah, I'll hand them to him.
Kind of, yeah, it kind of shrugs, and they both look to the guy who's like looking over the cargo, and he
It's
nods.
exact. Like the inventory is
Yeah.
exact.
And he just kind of nods. Okay. Okay. We can let you in. This is not a problem. But beware that to sell any of this within the city, you will have to bid on a market space. Unless, of course, you'd like to, and he points back in the direction of the shanty town. I believe they have space available.
I say.
I will raise my
I mean,
eyebrow at him.
What I mean, I would just say along the lines of course, I'm aware of. I'm aware of. I mean, we've been in here. We've been to the city before, and I assume I know the customs.
Very good. Cause no trouble. Make your way first to one of the inns.
And what I would assume I would know the inns, like, given we spent a decent amount of time here, correct?
Yeah, it is quite a big place, but the inns and taverns are the only things in the city that remain open all the time. Although it's a big city and there's a lot of travelers, and totally a bunch of places could be open 24 hours. There's a sort of an ordinance. There's like a law about what night activity can go on. And of course, people are going to need a place to sleep and whatever. So the inns and taverns stay open, but the city is like pretty dead at night. You know, kind of a martial law sort of thing, or a curfew. But in any case, yeah, you would
We
know
know-
of a number of inns throughout the city. But
We know of some places, but I'm gonna ask one of the guards here where's there an inn that can also provide security for our wagons so that we can sleep. Which it's
Yeah.
got to exist somewhere that we can pay a
Yeah.
fee for proper security.
he
That's
says,
not going to be at all of them.
yeah, and he just asks, well, he says, if you want somewhere like that that's close to the market square, and it occurs to me that I actually don't have that in my riff. I will come up with you something. But he lets you know that there is a place that'll fit that description. That's near the market square. If you're looking for something a little less expensive, where you'll have to walk farther to get to the market in the morning, he let you know of another place. But either way, they will charge you for keeping all of your stuff safe. But
Yep.
the one that's right by the market square is going to be a little more costly because opportunity.
That makes sense. I say we should probably do that one.
Probably a best case. That way we can hopefully offload our shit quickly. I'll tuck them back away.
All right. I guess does this inn have a name?
Yes, the Heron is by the market square. The
The
other one that he's
harem,
referring
yes.
That's the
to,
Heron.
the other
of
one
course.
that he's referring to is called Alcival, which is the one that's like farther walk. Here, I'll just put it like that. So, this being said, he advises you to get there without delaying. It's like if you're still on the streets, an hour from now, someone is going to start bothering you. So, with that, they will raise the gates very slightly, for you guys to get underneath of with your cart. And I mean, assuming you guys don't have anything else that you need from these guys, they're probably just gonna, ascend back onto the wall first, and then let you guys in. So,
Post haste.
As you guys are heading in the direction of the market square, which is not something you need directions to, for you guys who have been here before. So you would pass the first place by the gate is this. Oh yeah, I mean I think we're gonna wrap soon. In any case, but yeah, the first kind of district that you guys pass through is a pretty nice place, all things told. Like it's a good face for the place. The buildings are in pretty good shape. There's a lot of like 2- and 3-story buildings, which I realize is not impressive to your modern sensibilities, but I assure you that it's for the technology of what they're dealing with would be pretty impressive, I would say. But you don't notice like houses per se, just a lot of 2- and 3-story buildings. There's very quiet overall, but the only places that seem to be producing any noise, you're easily able to identify them as being various, inns and taverns and stuff. But even them, they're fairly quiet. You would pass through this sort of like big, clearly like some kind of industrial area where they're processing, ore and coals and stuff in big foundries and whatnot. But eventually, you come to this very large, well out, spacious market square that is. I would imagine probably at least one of you's got to be from a village. I would say Nick's the market square, this big open space in the middle of this city, is like bigger than the square footage of the village that you lived in all your life, as far as people's houses and stuff, which would have been loosely cobbled together. But you can see this huge space is like kind of there's all these lines like worn into it. There's almost a grid on it, sort of, but it's pretty worn and stuff. As for the Heron, you guys would arrive there to find that there's a little more activity there than normal, than you have encountered thus far. Like there's still people up, drinking, talking, laughing, and some people who are clearly, in heated business deals, or lively ones, if not heated. I realized that I missed something. Something new. So the last time I would say that Xander and Messer, that you guys were here, you would not have recalled anything like this. But at some point in your journey, you guys have to redirect because there is a section of street which is how you were going to get to the Heron, which is newly blocked off. There's a fucking palisade built in the street, and it
was
seems
quick.
to be by a palisade I just mean like a wooden wall that goes the width of the street, and it seems to be sort of manned, and Messer, as a warrior yourself, you can't help but notice that it doesn't, all those spikes don't seem to be pointing out toward the street. Some of them seem to be pointing toward the inside, toward whatever is on the other side of the wall. But it's like a maybe a square block of worth of space. Who knows? Who knows? But anyhow,
That's questions for the morning.
yeah, you guys arrive exhausted at the Heron, and I'm sure, being so exhausted, you're really not interested in the nightlife or or like people's business deals. Or it is a nice spot though, reasonably nice. It's I would say on a par with some of the better Umara stock taverns or inns, but nothing really that special. You guys would, at the front desk, basically your cargo would be sort of inventoried, as well as your animals, things about their color, the age of the animal, stuff to make it easy to identify them, and as well as the cart that you have, and you would see somebody leave out the front with some kind of tags, like numbered tags, and you would also be given one of the rooms that you'd be assigned to, whichever. You'd get the tags for that have that new room number on it. So like, let's say you're renting 2 rooms, 11 and 12. They'd be like, okay, here, we'll tag your animals with 12, and you take this. That way, there's no confusion on this. And they're gonna go lock them up somewhere. There's like a big courtyard thing that where the animals seem to be kept. You do notice that they're seeming to want to like unload your cargo so that they can like physically pick up your cart between several people and like put it up, which is quite an undertaking, but got to save space in the city. For lack of a better term, they basically have like a cart rack. Probably not for anything bigger than what you guys have, but and I assume off to sleep. So, assuming that there's no other craziness that you guys want to involve yourselves in, I think
Not
that's
until
a
morning.
level.
Woo!
I think we do have to. I am going to have to reference back and figure out what this is going to cost you guys, because it's going to be rooms for the night,
Think-
security, and a
Well, we
premium.
each have our own gold. We do have the party money as well, so I'm sure we can figure it out. And people can, I guess, decide what levels of they want to sleep in within. I guess what's the lowest level here? What's the highest?
I mean, probably poor accommodations is the lowest level, but it's gonna cost as if it's modest because of the premium on everything.
Would I be able?
So-
I mean, would I be able to try to haggle back to normal even though I'm exhausted? Just
It is
given
the
the
market district.
I would say like, look, it's the like you're gonna get a decent amount as it is from the inventory and other like we happen to be like just 7 more travelers, so it's not like you're losing money.
The inventory.
And it's nearing the end of the night. You wouldn't be able to fill the
Yeah.
rooms anyhow.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair point.
I
Go
got
ahead
your
and roll
back,
your
dog.
persuasion check at normal.
Let's, at normal, and I look at Ved again. Nudge, nudge, hint, hint, wink, wink.
He's mouthing that
He
he's
must be
tapped
out,
out
yeah.
and something else.
Yeah,
He
sorry.
tapped out.
I'm pretty sure I have used both of my. Oh wait, days
How
have
do you-
passed. What am I talking
Yeah,
about?
days have passed. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, okay. Now I'm tapped out. Go ahead. really got to
Okay.
stop muting myself.
And I'm gonna use the D6.
Okay,
Which
so
doesn't bring it
14.
to 15, sadly, but we'll see.
So the guy prepares for you to make some like long speech. I'm sure he deals with merchants on a regular basis, but you keep your shits short and to the point. Maybe the fact that you're tired actually, like, he's also tired, and you're like, look, it's the end of the day. You're not gonna fill the rooms anyway. Can we just? And he nods, seeming to find that to be a fair point. So you guys can have your lifestyle at Modest for a gold piece each, as would be normal. However, there will still be, because of security, it's a cart and 2 camels, right?
Yeah.
We'll still have to pay for all that.
Okay. So that'll be 2.5 gold total. So
All right, so
in
I'll edit the
total
2.5
for all of
gold.
you, it would be what 7 gold plus 2.5. So that would be 9.5 gold. So like,
Fine,
Is
I'll
all that
take it
getting
out
paid
of-
out of the part? Okay.
I'll take it out of the party fund for now, just for ease.
okay.
I'm gonna put that
And
in.
you would probably be split up, I would say, into. They're fairly big rooms. It's like a boarding house style. So it's not so much like a hotel as we think of it, where you get like 2 beds and a thing. There's like a bunch of bunk beds, but you guys would just sort of be like split up into one big room around other people that are also sleeping. Not uncommon. That's totally normal how this type of shit is often done. But anyhow, also, pretty. I mean, you guys paid for the good one, so you at least get your own beds. But not a bad way to make some business connections is by having to share a bed with somebody, which totally happened. That's an actual thing. Just
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, get done a long day sleeping and rent a part of a bed. You rent 1/3 or 1/2 of a bed, and you're just sleeping face to face with some stranger. But hey, okay. So I want to say that that's going to make a level, since you guys are definitely with enough
Hell
experience to
yeah.
level up. I realized this one was not like quite as.
I mean, it's fine. We needed to get through this stuff and get there.
Yeah, and look, if I could be honest, I was not in my finest form today. My bad, y'all.
You're
I'm
fine.
going through a lot, but
You're fine.
I appreciate you guys letting me talk at you in any case. And I imagine the next one will be quite a bit more eventful, no spoilers. So I won't keep you guys any longer, though.
Hey Trev, the only thing that I can add is because after I trance out for a little bit, I probably won't need as much sleep as everybody else. I'll go down to a lit area and I'm gonna start writing like writs of authenticity for all of our exotic goods.
Oh, right. Okay. That'll be good. So as if they're like specific, curated, rare.
Yeah, like we have something from Yarkrawad, or
Yep,
like
okay.
stuff that can't get here through like
I
the